Hello everyone. It certainly is a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed your 4th of Julys around the world, enjoyed some firecrackers. Florida doesn't allow firecrackers, or what do we call them? Firecrackers. They only allow the little fizzers. It's funny, allow. I love that. We only allow you. I love that, don't you? It's interesting, this whole planet, how those that are elected to protect us allow us to do different things. I love that one around the world, don't you? People really, souls came here and then forgot who they were, forgot their spirituality. Talked to a gentleman last week who remembers everything from his childhood, including exact money exchanges from his parents to others. I mean, this guy remembers everything. And he started losing it when he started losing his health. Amazing. Some of you have a lot of good memories of when you came in here. Some before, obviously. So spirituality should always be on one's list. And it's kind of undefined. Spirituality is the expansion or the awakening process, truly, of understanding the oneness of all things. Because he doesn't even have to tell you. Because just as you awaken, and awakening means that you quit focusing. You quit focusing on the finite, which is creation, and you start unfocusing and just being. Because in that beingness lies all life. It's hard to describe, but in that beingness, in that eternal nowness, in the I am, if you will, all that's found in the present moment outside of time. Time is just an illusionary concept of two poles, fluctuating electromagnetic energy, obviously creating electromagnetic energy and moving consciousness and stepping it down into different states of consciousness, and therefore different individualities, different dramas, etc., etc., etc. So part of growing and becoming awake is health, is getting the body healthy again. And how interesting that at man's level on this planet, it keeps them so low. I mean, look at the wars we have over religions and things. Almost all wars are religious wars at one level or another. And I find that totally amazing, because when you lack the understanding that when you see another person or another animal or a plant, that's a piece of you. And we lack that because we lack that spirituality. And man has to start getting that, where he starts seeing each of us as being a part of the one. And that one is in the now. That one can only be found in the eternal now, where there is nothing but the infinite. And hard to describe that when we work in contexts of increments of time, increments of energetics, things like this, That's why detoxification is always an energetic experience. Everything is an energetic experience. You can't go high without having the energy to do that. Some people are so low in their adrenals, they just want to go, hey, man. And that's the problem. We need to invigorate ourselves, enliven ourselves, turn ourselves back on. This level sucks the energy right out of you. A lot of energy suckers out there, no question about it. How are you all doing on Facebook? Did you have having a lot of good times there? It's difficult to stay stable with the mind, because the mind always wants to add. And a good example, this K2 and all these things, these are things we did way back, and they don't make any difference. I'm telling you, you might feel a little better here and there, but when you get to a fruit and berry and melon diet, you get to using herbs. Say you use some green drinks, I don't care, superfood blends. You're really at the top of the mountain. You're consuming more nutrition than most beings on the planet, not just human beings, but all level beings. So a lot of nutrition, and you'll find that nutrition isn't the answer. I mean, it's the answer to wellness, absolutely, and that's a given. Health and nutrition, it's a given. What's our problem? What happened to us? Everything's food, right? Meat's food, nuts are food, fruits are food, or these things are foods, right? Man, you know what? They're food for different species, but not for the human species. So as long as you want to eat dead animals and their milks and the dairy products and the yogurts and the kefirs and the things like this, you can never get and achieve that dynamicness. That's why I say, put all that stuff aside for a while. Even the beans and the grains, all the dead foods, the dormant foods, put all those aside for a while. This is the summertime, and bring it out, bring life out. The fruits are everywhere. I'm still having fresh squeezed navel orange juice thanks to California and Brazil. Thank you guys. I just love this fresh squeezed stuff. Just so good, Hard to always get here. So you just keep working on this and keep working on your health issues. So I wanted to read some of these and catch up some of your questions here. So I only have till 11 o'clock, so I only have about a half hour. I apologize, but I wanted to say hi to you all and miss talking to you. I didn't come in this weekend. I was so busy with so many things. So see if I can answer some questions. This is tannins and vacations. I have heard you say that the tannins in coffee and tea are not good for the kidneys. Well, I know herbal teas are better for their effective properties. Would this be true for the herbal teas as well, even like the heal-all tea? Yeah, the tannins are real low in the heal-all tea, but matter of fact, they're real low. I've had people drinking the heal-all tea for years, and it's just highly medicinal. It's highly nutritive. It's highly medicinal. It's soothing to the body. There's no really radical herbs in there to be radical with anybody and to be high in tannins that much. There are some, no question. Alkaloids the same way. But these principles are found almost in everything. When alkaloids are high, the FDA freaks. And that's interesting to me. When you take comfrey and licorice, basically you want to get them off the market because of the alkaloids, or you want to take the alkaloids out. It's like, what? They just living in a surreal world. These are the criminals that allow drugs that kill people right on the market. Who cares? And then say something about an alkaloid, which is buffered, by the way, in plants. People have eaten comfrey since hell froze over. Well, starting to. But that sort of thing. And it's just amazing. But especially your Liptons, your black teas and stuff, pretty high in tannins and alkaloids too. They really can be hard, especially if you drink a lot of them. And it's just was one of my habits, and I don't drink any tea anymore. But it's just that sort of thing, you just get addicted to those things in life. Takes you and beats you and twists you and turns you, and then you keep trying to get your discipline, keep controlling yourselves. We all fight the same problems here, and it's called the mind and emotions. These are the two biggest tools you have to experience life in a much broader sense than the physical. Physical is very, 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 very restrictive and limited, almost claustrophobic when you wake up to your higher selves. So it's almost claustrophobic to be in these lower, very finite worlds. But even the emotional, the astral world, very big, but the mental worlds are gigantic. These realms are huge. Souls can spend eons of time experiencing these levels because they're more positive than negative, but at the same time, they're still within creation. And I guess, it's a fine line of what you want to do, what your journey is, and having fun with that. It's just this level is just so immensely finite in every way, shape, or form. And even the consciousness of many souls have been solidified in this world. And it's like you got to pull yourselves out of these karmas. Everything is karmic driven. Everything. You can say you reap what you sow. You can say for every action there's an opposite and equal reaction. I forget what the name of physics we call it, but that would be the name. I hope you came back on. Did you see our power just go off? Let me check you. Yeah. Yeah, we're still recording. We got a big, huge storm out there. And it's coming down pretty good. So the lights could be going out. Except ours. Don't let your light go out. Do you know of anywhere in Florida to vacation where a family could enjoy a fruitarian life? Excuse me. Boy, I wish I did. You know what? I really wish I did. I would love to see more fruitarian. Maybe there is, and I'm unaware of it. Costa Rica, of course, more places like that. Most of your fruitarian thinkers move to the tropics because it's difficult to be that in the States and enjoy that because of the flavors and the way we pick unripe. We insult fruit bad. Fruit has got the worst bad rap of any food on the planet, and I can't imagine that's our food source. But it's the negative forces trying to keep you away from your freedom, from your health and wellness, because you have tree-ripe fruits. Once you get understanding of this level, it's hard to go back to a vegetarian lifestyle because it's so much lower and so much more materialistic and so much more mineralistic. It's hard to describe it. You feel those. You can feel all these areas. Some of you guys are so far out there, you have felt these. And you've even told me that you can't go back to vegetables because they're too coarse. I do have a salad every lunch to try to maintain some balance. If I wasn't here, oh my God, there's no question 100% fruitarian, because nothing appeals to me in the vegetable kingdom except guacamole, and that's a fruit. But you know, we're these type of fruits like durians and avocados and things, they're so thick they can move toward that way. But still, I love my guac. I love all that. I wish I did have a place, you know, for you. We have a place that people want to stay. It's an individuals who they made their house into not a nursing home, but a place for elderly people, and then they realized they were raw food. They became raw foodists, and then they opened it up for people that want to stay and go through us. And you know, she finds grapes like this big. I don't know. Everything's organic and everything, but it's really just meant to be there short term, 2 or 3 weeks, month, maybe 2 months. I don't know if a family would be appropriate even there. So, but boy, I wish Florida would be just such a beautiful place to do that. California too. I recently saw online some Woodstock Festival for fruitarians. What? Too bad you do not have an event or resort like that. I know. Well, you know what? That's the dream. Remember, in the consciousness, the universal mind, all these thoughts are universal. You can plug into the same thoughts I do. You know, we can all do that. The universal mind. Holmes, remember, talked a lot about it. Anything by Holmes. Can't remember his first name. But that is a shame. You know, it is a shame, because I can't imagine going to a huge complex or a farm that has a center. I was going to move our company up to Gainesville and build a huge geodesic dome, golden dome, where it's like a mirror, but it's golden, so it reflects the landscape. And then I love flowers and plants, so you know, and then have farms, and then have small cabins for everybody to come in and work on themselves. Oh, I've had all these kind of desires. It takes one thing, money. And it's funny, we have a lot of famous people that come to us with lots of money, and you know, I'd like to see a couple of those guys grab the passion. We could have some nice places and really show the world what we need to do. And that's the truth. I'm very amazed with the guy that sent me the pyramid greenhouses. That was like, that's cool stuff. And I would love to see that coming up. So, Karina, I don't know. You know, but just do your best always. Hope you find a place, because I know Costa Rica is the place I have in mind. I don't know. I really don't. Let me see. This is an individual. Let me see here. Oh, thank you. I would be honored if Dr. Morse would address my health concerns in a video. It's just an advanced case of acidosis, basically, and the treatment of it pretty straightforward. I don't know. This man's got a deviated septum. He's got blocked airways with his deviated septum, and I am patient. I think he had surgery at that. It didn't help much or something, but the problem is he can't breathe well, can't bring oxygen into his body well, and therefore his O2 saturation, you know how they put the little O2 saturation on you? That means how well you're saturating your blood with oxygen, how well your oxygen saturation is. His is 86 at times. If he can breathe and stuff, of course, it brings it on up into the 97, 98s. You want 98, 99 O2 saturation at the very least. You don't want to start getting down the 97s and 96 because then you start, you know, looking at the COPDs and things like this, you know, when you start getting oxygen or you get into the, all the lung issues out there. But I think this is a breathing problem with the deviated septum. I'm not sure if he has polyps or what in there, but all I can say is breaking the sinuses loose is breaking the gut loose and the kidneys loose. You got to focus on those eliminative organs to get this to break loose. An X amount of hydration is possible. One can always chew on horseradish root. We've just discussed that. Not real heavy, but you know, just a little bit of horseradish root. You can neti pot, whatever. You want to be careful about overstimulation of the mucosa, though, because that causes mucus. So peppers, if you want to get an organic cayenne, and pinches if you do, because you're really not trying to purge and make happen, because you'll overstimulate the mucosa, as I've said, and create more mucus. Then you got to deal with that mucus on top of the mucus you're already trying to deal with. And so, somewhat difficult. But opening that up, even neti pot with normal saline, anything alkaline solution would be good. You could maybe do some light salt water, but again, I want to come back to this. Where people are doing salt water liver flushes. You never drink salt water, guys. Never drink salt water. Lady was just in last week. She said, I did it. And I'm saying, because we were talking about her liver and a liver gallbladder flush. And she said, well, I did the salt water one. And I said, no. And I addressed this in another video, because whoever's brought that up and has brought up salt water, you don't take salt water in. Remember, that's how we die out here in the ocean. You don't drink salt water. Any survivalist program will tell you that. You don't drink your urine and you don't drink salt water. Yet you have people that claim to be in the health field. So you can see why a lot of the allopathic physicians look at some of the people out there going, you know, you can't do those things. You see what I mean about becoming respectful and being... This is another reason why I like the Guardians, Liz. Because the Guardians keep things pure, and sometimes you have to keep things pure, because what is this for anyway? This is something I want to discuss after I read that with Liz and that sort of thing, about those that are guardians of Robert Morse. No, we are the guardians of God. You know, this is all a God thing for me, and nothing else. For me, who am I? You know, I'm a soul that wants out of here, so it's like... You know, I'm here to help bring this into balance, and then, you know, I've got journeys going on, and it's time to go. So it's enough to say that we're guarding truth, not for any one person. Are you kidding? That's an insult. This is for the world. This is for other souls that visit here that don't have such a rocky, hard time. You know, the suffering is unbelievable. Death, come and go, who cares? But the suffering is something that needs to be changed. Way too much suffering. Remember, everything's karmic driven. So to give yourself a freedom, this is how you learn to let go of your karma. One, you don't create more, so you live more in the now. And two, you let us get your karma ridden off. We'll do it through the doors of health and taking you into the lectures and stuff. A lot of you are coming to our lectures on the inner planes, things like this. A lot of the masters are working with everybody. And so just realize there's a lot going on there. And your part would be just to let go. Just like you're letting the acids go out of your body. You let thoughts go, you let emotions go. Who cares anymore? Don't ride on these thoughts or emotions that no matter what happened, an ex hurt you real bad, family members, whatever. You can't hang on to these type of experiences, or you're carrying them like a ball and chain down your road with you. And it doesn't matter, you know, because as soul, nothing can ever hurt you. You are that element of you, which is the true you. That's who you are. That's the freedom. Nothing can hurt you. Your bodies might be imprisoned. Your bodies might go through suffering, but it'll pull you into these areas of suffering if you're not careful. So that's why you're always working on detachment a famous word. Buddha brought it out. Jesus brought it out. Detachment. Choose your experiences wisely, because that's how you create your next adventure, if you hadn't noticed. So you want to be careful there. I don't have much to say other than that, because trying to get up in here, and I believe this gentleman had surgery and it still didn't help. That's uncomfortable and not good, because generally you drain back, and people are always having sore throats because of all the mucus drainage. The thing is get yourself drained and get this mucus flowing. Then if you have cysts, or all the swelling in these cavities will go away. And if you really pound it for long enough, then your body will reshape itself structurally. But you've got to be 100% raw, in my opinion, for over a year. That's when I've seen incredible structural changes. We talked about some quads that had mind-blowing. And you know what? I've got a lot of tapes that Fox News did on us, and ABC News, and different lectures in Portugal and stuff. I've got a lot of that I'd like to put up for you. It's all on different videos, and we have to put it all together. So you might like that. It was fun, and might be helpful there. But the only thing I can say about this is you've got to get this mucus out of you to oxygenate well. He's not much of a mouth breather too much. I learned to be a mouth breather growing up with all the milk and the congestion, but not fun, and low oxygenation of the body. And when you're pulling oxygen in from the nasal passages, you can feel it like enter the brain quicker without all this moving through the lungs and stuff. It's just a huge difference, And I would say you keep working on it, working on deep breathing, bringing oxygen in, because bringing additional oxygen helps to loosen up and break up mucus as well. So I don't have really much to say what you can do with that, other than using your lymphatic herbs and stuff. And you can neti pot some lymphatics, but going to be strong on you when you do that. So just a little dab will do you sometimes, Okay, this is an inquiry email. Let's see. This is Douglas. Hi, Dr. Morse. I'm so excited starting this new lifestyle. Oh, good, Doug. I tell you what, I've never lost a second of enthusiasm in, 44 years going on now. Even though there's times that I haven't done it because of one thing or another, but I've never lost my passion and love for feeling light and healthy and just mobile, and all the things that comes with being rehydrated properly and being alkaline base balance, and just having your mucus out of you and stuff. Although we can all keep going, you could get mucus out of you forever probably, in the nature of the way we're raised and stuff. Amazing, all you strong constitution people out there. You're just so lucky. Prescriptions, what's this? Questions on how and when to start dropping the following medications. This channel is not part of the club, so it's not a member thing in terms that I can just tell you freely about things like that. So I'll have to say, this is if it was me, my First Amendment rights to speak to you. This is how I would do it if I was on these things. I always recommend, if you can, have your MD help you. The problem with that, and the problem with hearing that on the commercials, is that MDs a lot of them don't give a shit. And so once you're on a drug, you're on a drug. And you could be on it for years. They don't care. They don't know. You're lost. You're in a file in the drawer. And you're on them for years. I've had people come in here on 10, 20 medications or more, and half of it was crap, and their blood pressures were so low because they got their healthy that they were afraid to come off of it. So let me give you an example of what I would do if it was me. And just to give you an idea about chemical medications, because the biggest thing about medications, and I hate to even use the word medications, because these are toxic pharmaceutical chemicals. Don't fool yourself. And don't be fooled by pharmaceutical companies, and this is your medicinos or your medicines, and everything's nice. These aren't medicines. These things are toxic chemicals that suppress some type of action in your body or excessively kill. Most of them are acidically driven, and therefore have devastating effects in terms of stomach and liver and all these places like this. Real hard. So let's look at this person's on insulin. Insulin is, even synthetic, is still a hormone. The pancreas is still an endocrine gland. Therefore, the more you're on insulin, remember we talked about this as Marcy's problem, been on insulin 30-some years. You don't just come off a steroid and you're on, whether it's insulin, this is the catch-22. This is why I'd rather catch people before they get on these things, because once you're on that, now your beta cells in your pancreas is going to produce less insulin. So now you're in a war, because when you try to come down, your pancreas has already stepped back. And so now you're fighting that, because now your body stepped back in its production of insulin to maybe the point of none or very little. And here you are trying to get well with this, and you're inspiring the pancreas with herbs and the protomorphogens or glandulars and things like this. And so I want to slap any medical doctor that ever comes and says anything to us about our work and how we do with people. Are you kidding? It's a job to get somebody off of insulin that's been on insulin for any long time, because you just wore out you're shutting down your gland. So you have to titrate, go slow off of these things, but you have to do it in proportionate to what your blood sugar is showing too. There's another thing about that as well, because as you inspire more pancreatic function, particularly the islets of Langerhans, the beta cells, when you inspire the health of these tissues or the nervous system that turns them on. Remember that? A lot of type 1s are neurological type 1s. So this is, again, the autonomic nervous system. Back to that one again. So the adrenals are very much still a part of sugar metabolism in its own way, neurologically speaking. So that's a trip. So while you're working and inspiring and getting these tissues back in a state of health, as your stats are in your face, you have to come down on these things. So you just do the best you can, but sometimes there's 8 units nightly. And so you have to titrate. You have to take responsibility or have your medical doctor. And the medical doctor's obligation is to help you. But you see what I see in this world when it comes to medical doctors. So, here's Metformin. So you're on insulin and Metformin? Metformin is a synthetic form of a blood sugar control. It's not insulin, but it's synthetic. Metformin, glucophage, things like this. These are pills. These are the easier things to get off, because it all relates to your blood sugar. And you don't want to have blood sugar below, let's say, 80. 65 on most labs are low end. You're hypoglycemic at 65. I don't care what they say. So you really want to be in the 80s, and on a non-fasting, 100, 95 to 100 maybe 105 on raw with weaknesses and stuff like that. Some people are staying around 130, 120 something on raw who have diabetes type 2, or what would be an adrenal weakness, where the cortisols are low and affecting sugar metabolism, where you're going to have trouble with all sugars, simple and complex. So it's just understanding those things. That's the easiest to get rid of. And if you're on both of these things, of course, metformin's going to go first. The goal is to just use metformin. Because insulin, you have to be a type 1. So I would attempt to get off of insulin and use metformin if you had to. But for me, metformin is something you use at 140s, 150s, 160s. We don't give any insulin in hospitals till you hit about 200. Then we give 5-10 units. We've seen this all the time here. Here's another one I never heard of. This is Onglyza, another one for diabetes. You've got three things here for diabetes, and that's a lot. So that's insane right there. And so as you correct the health of tissue in your body, you're going to have to take the responsibility and dump some of these things. So one of these need to be dumped anyway. And I would have my medical doctor help me, or you're going to have to take the responsibility for yourself, which is your constitutional right. I think that still's out there now. Of course, if you're a part of the Club of Rome, which is the corporate United States, which is exactly what they've done, is corporate the United States, separate than the Constitution for the people. So there's a lot of fraud going on out there just to fine you, tax you, and to control you. Absolutely. We have 2 governments in this country. Most people don't realize that. You have the original Constitution, the courthouse for the United States, and then you have the U.S. Constitution, which is federal. And then they tried to make everybody in the United States a federal citizen. Oh, this thing gets so deep it freaked most of you out here. Now, high blood pressure medications. High blood pressure medications are the easiest, in my opinion, to get off. And the thing is that if you're on 2 or 3, as you bring your blood pressure down. Now, what causes high blood pressure? Where are we going? Exactly, kidneys and adrenals. Top number is your systolic number, that's the adrenals. You can have a top number of 140 or 150, I don't care. It's the bottom number that's the key. That's your kidneys. And when that's above 80, actually above 75, you're getting into trouble. When you're 80 or above, you're having kidney problems. And you can correlate that with your creatinine in your blood work. You can correlate all of this, and it all fits like a glove. They haven't come to the ability to understand that yet, but you guys are, and this will put you miles ahead of any other healer on the planet. But for high blood pressure, when your blood pressure comes down within normal ranges, if you're 70 on the 60s and 70s on the bottom, you're within perfect range. And if you're dumping the top too much, which is typical for most blood pressure medications, they shut down the adrenals, so they dump the top number. You don't want to dump too far, or you'll get real fatigued on your blood pressure medication. Now, here's one for cholesterol. In my opinion, you don't want to take anything for cholesterol. Your cholesterol is up. Doesn't that fit into the picture of diabetes? In other words, your adrenals are down, your kidneys are down. Oh, this is the effect of the pancreas, so that's down as well. But all these other things are easy. The high blood pressure goes right along with diabetes, because that, again, is the kidneys and adrenals, particularly the type 2s, the hypoglycemias. You're always going to have kidney problems, and you're always going to have what? Cholesterol problems. Why? Because cholesterol is the lymph system, part of the anti-inflammatory process. That's what lipids are used for predominantly. I mean, just take a look at most of your steroids are cholesterol-based. So it's just understanding that you're way too acidic. And this just tells you you're drawing your own path here. I've got kidney and adrenals are down, therefore my blood sugars are having a problem with, therefore my blood pressure's up, my kidneys are failing, and my cholesterols are up. I can't find acidosis because this is backing up my sewer system in my body. Whenever the kidneys are down, your sewer system's getting backed up. That's simple. And therefore now inflammation is coming in, which is a response to acidosis. And now you start losing calcium, you start losing or producing more cholesterol to fight this. So wrong way. Here's another one he's on for diabetes. Pioglitazone. I never heard of that one. It sounds like some type of steroid. You've got to get with this. You're on way too many things. So you really need to detox yourself and get into that pancreas and clean it out. But you can't get in there real well, or the liver real well, without doing what? The GI tract. You've got to clean your GI tract out. You've got to get your lymph moving, clean the walls up, and really work on regenerating your GI tract. At the same time, what's number one? Get your kidneys filtering. Number one for all things, adrenals and kidneys, because nothing else matters if you don't. Because there's nothing you can stop. You can't correct these things. You notice how everybody's treating symptoms, and they have their little supplements, and they do this and this and this, and nobody gets cured that way. The only curing you're seeing is what you guys are doing. Truly getting cured and regenerated. There's a lot more than just feeling better. There's regeneration of tissue. There's an awakening process of consciousness. There's all kinds of things going on that's fun, that's expansive, that's better than what's going on right now. And then we got another one for high blood pressure. And I've never heard of this one either. Indapamide. I mean, all I can say is you go after your health. You go after your kidneys. You get on your fruits and your berries and your melons, because you don't have to about the herbs being interactive. I've never seen that. And if they are, good. Let the herbs clean this crap out of you, because you're using chemicals to stabilize, and your diets continue to make you worse. And you just can't do that. There's a point when everything crashes and burns here, and not good. So you're going to have to make a choice. As you get your kidneys, you start coming off those I would be coming off my blood pressure medications, and I dang sure would be working with my blood sugars. And if you are a type 1, try the all fruit. No vegetables whatsoever, because that'll invoke an insulin need. So I would go that way. Prescription for my glaucoma. Well, here we go. It says that the lymph system's all backed up in her head or his head. Who is this? Oh, this is Douglas. Sorry, Doug. So it's all backed up in your head, man. You got to get your lymph moving. And you're sitting right up on your GI tract. And everything that you're telling me here is you're backed up lymphatically all the way. Your branches, your pancreas, and probably in your liver too, Doug. Everything's backed up all the way up into the head. Now you got that lymphatic glaucomic pressure. Nothing good comes to that one. You got to get rid of that because this is all acidosis on the eye, in the brain. So this is nothing any good here. And you're on these drops for glaucoma, but to tell you the truth, how are you going to get rid of a lymph pressure by drops? Suppression. And nothing ever good comes by suppressing the lymph system. It can dry the eyes. I mean, nothing good comes. MACD, wrinkle retinas, detachments. It goes on and on and on and on and on. Now, this person's on non-prescription, doctor recommended, an aspirin. Why not eat your fruits and veggies? They act the same way. All right? Fruits and veggies act the same way, but not so much the veggies. Your fruits and your berries and your melons keep the blood thin. Not thin, but it's viscosity perfect, where you don't have platelet agitation, you don't have any of this because you don't have the acidosis that's pulling it together magnetically. That's why the fruits and the berries are so key, because their high flavonoids are incredible for vascular walls. So that's all you have to do. Calcium, magnesium, no way, Jose, because you have a little brother phosphorus. Even though acidic, you're going to still break down your bone matrix. You never take isolates, I'm telling you. It'd be rare. I've done it rare, like with kidney stones, magnesium and B6, but I'm telling you, you can't keep taking these type of isolates and expect to ever reach a wellness level, a level of dynamicness and health and vitality when you're messing with your body's chemistry. Not important. Vitamin D, D3, I don't care. People make a big deal out of that. I don't. Go out in the sun. I've never seen anybody that was a raw foodist that had a big problem with that had nature as part of its thing. And then here's a multivitamin. Let me say this, multivitamins, chuck them. Go to superfood blends. I've got an incredible God's Garden superfood blend, but look at all the other ones. Not a real Schultz fan, doesn't have much in it. He is now in glass, but he used to be in plastic for years and years and years. Richard, plastic superfood blend? I don't think so. I never use plastic. No, thank you. Glass, 100%. So I'd use a superfood blend that's robust. Keep the probiotics, the digestive enzymes, keep the algaes, keep that crap out of there. Get a pure superfood blend, and it'll kick your butt with energy and nutrition. But again, go to your problem, lymphatics. All you're telling me is you have a lymphatic problem, which is starting to get into some serious problems here. I am noticing such a drastic jump in my blood sugar counts with eating so much fruit, and I know my doctor will not approve, so they are so against eating fruit. I don't care if they're against it or not. If you're having that much problem with the fruit, you have to do fruit only. You have to do fruit only and nothing else. You can't do fruit and vegetables because that'll raise your blood sugar and you'll blame it on the fruit. You've got to do exclusively and only fruit and berries, and that's it. And that'll keep your blood sugar down there. If you're that brittle, it'll balance itself out. Then the adrenals are very much a part of this, which you see already. And that could just be messing with your sugar metabolism. It's enough to say you got to go straight fruit. And you're going to have some glucose loading a little bit when you have fat breakdown and everything else, so you're still going to see some bumps with the blood sugar, but you can work that out. And then we have an herbal formula for blood sugars, for elevated blood sugars. I spoke with Drew today, June 23rd, and he was extremely helpful in giving me some advice, and I continue to watch and search your relevant videos with, thanks, man. Well, you know what? You keep working on this. Keep my sugars at bay, and keep doing that. If you have to, which is shocking, going to just vegetables for a while and green drinks, if you're having that much trouble with the fruit, you could do that, but I can't imagine if you're a type 1 that the vegetables wouldn't cause you elevated blood sugars as well, because glucose is an insulin-dependent simple sugar. So I don't know what to say. To keep working that out, Doug. Keep working that out, and you will get that out. You've got to come off of all this crap here. You're so hypersensitive here. You're on so much for blood sugar. It's amazing to me that he has you on so much different things for blood sugar. That's freaky. That's way too many things for different chemicals for blood sugar, in my opinion. So you want to balance out. Find that food that balances out, not protein or anything like that. It either got to be the fruits and only fruits, or the vegetables. In 90% of the type 1s we just put on fruits only, their blood sugar comes right on down. But you can use the healthy glucose if you want to help you with that. But keep working yourself off of these things. I would use the, if it was me, I'm going to use the eye wash instead of their drops, because it inspires blood and lymph flow. You can also take them internally, which Bill Berry and stuff loves the eye stuff. But this is a lymphatic problem all the way through. You can see that, Doug, and you want to go after that big time. Adrenals, kidneys, and go in that way, because that's really at the core of everything you're suffering with, and that'll start opening up pancreas, bowels, start opening up here the eyes, and get some drainage going, and I gotta go. Oh, no. I apologize. I only got 1 or 2 read. I'm sorry. There's so many. Oh, good questions here, guys. I want to spend more time. This week I should have time to do that, because I'm going to Texas next week. So I want to spend as much time with you. Maybe I can get all this knocked off of here sometime this week. But it's a real short one. I apologize, but keep the path steady. And don't be shaken off. Too many people, the mind comes in, especially those that have never had this. The mind comes in and just says, but what if we could add this? And what if we could add that? The problem with adding things that are not raw and dynamic and healthy, like fruits and berries and melons and veggies, is you get into problems, and I like to see some of us stay straight away. That way, those that want to go and come and go and fly off can. But keep in mind that we're trying to build a respectable understanding of health and proper science of what we know that's not theory. Okay? So that's what I'm trying to do, establish a viable science that people go, that's scientific. And we can prove it through chemistry, we can prove it through physics, we can prove this through every science that we have available at this level. But man just continues to look. But remember, everything's karmic driven. You have fun today, each and every one of you. Love each and every one of you so much. And remember, I'm as close as your dreams, and so is all the other spiritual beings out there helping. So work with your spiritual guides and enjoy the inner worlds a little, what you would call the inner worlds a little bit, as opposed to so much external here in the physical world. Give yourself a little fun on the inside as well. Have fun. Love you all.